All right, today we're tackling a really cool idea from our source materials, the story of the original versus the copy. We're going to explore the relationship between essential nutrients our bodies desperately need and some of the most common drugs out there.
So, get this. What if some of the most common medications we reach for, things like painkillers and blood thinners, what if they were just man-made copies of something our bodies are already designed to use? This is the central question our sources pose, and it really frames everything we're about to dive into.
Okay, first up, let's start with stuff that's probably pretty familiar to all of us. We're talking about common health issues and the go-to solutions that you might find in just about any medicine cabinet.
Right, so you've got things like inflammation and pain, or worries about blood clot risks. Super common stuff. And the typical solutions, as highlighted in our sources, are names you'll definitely recognize. Aspirin, Motrin, Coumadin, Plavix, Eliquis. You've heard of them, right? They're household names for a reason. But how do these drugs actually get the job done? The sources we're looking at have a very specific and honestly kinda surprising way of explaining how they work.
Whoa, okay, let's pause on that for a second. Poisons. That is a very strong word, and it's a direct quote from the source material. The argument being made here is that these drugs don't really build anything up. Instead, they work by suppressing or blocking or, as they put it, shutting down a part of your body to get rid of a symptom. It's a really provocative way to look at it.
And this is where you see the other side of that coin. This table lays out some of those familiar drugs right next to their potential serious side effects. For things like aspirin and Motrin, you're looking at risks like GI bleeding or even an increased chance of heart attack or stroke. And for the anticoagulants, the big worry is, of course, major bleeding. So the point being made is pretty clear. Yes, they manage symptoms, but that can come with a pretty serious list of potential costs.
Okay, so we've looked at what our sources are calling the copy. Now, let's flip the script and turn our attention to what they call the original. This is where the whole story pivots from the pharmacy to the pantry.
And the original all comes down to something called essential fatty acids, or EFAs for short. And that word, essential, it's not a suggestion. It means your body has to have them to be healthy, but it can't make them from scratch. You've got to get them from your food. We're talking about things like omega-3 and omega-6.
And here's the real kicker. Our sources present EFAs as the actual tools your body uses to regulate itself. They're the fundamental building blocks for handling things like inflammation and keeping your blood flowing smoothly, all on its own the way it was designed to.
So this brings us to the main event. This is where we put the two approaches side by side. Let's really look at how the nutrient and the drug stack up when they're trying to solve the exact same problem. First up, inflammation. On one side, you've got EFAs, which the sources called nature's aspirin. The idea is they give your body the raw materials it needs to find balance. But on the other side, you've got the NSAIDs. They're presented as just mimicking the effect by forcefully suppressing the system, which, as we saw, can lead to some serious problems.
It's a really similar story when you look at blood flow. EFAs are called nature's blood thinner and are described as working kindly and gently. Then you have anticoagulants like warfarin. And our sources make a pretty startling point here. That same core ingredient is also used as rat poison. The argument is that it doesn't work with your body. It just overrides the whole clotting system completely. So here it is, all boiled down. This is the big aha moment. The core argument from our sources is support versus override. The nutrient approach is all about giving your body the parts it needs to fix itself. The pharmaceutical approach is described as blocking a pathway to get rid of a symptom. It's like one is giving the mechanic the right tools, and the other is just cutting the wire to the check engine light.
But hold on, the story doesn't stop there, because according to our sources, the benefits of these original nutrients go way, way beyond what those copy drugs could ever do. The scope is just huge.
I mean, just take a look at the brain and nervous system. EFAs are presented as the literal raw material for your neurotransmitters and are critical for the very structure of your brain cells. Our sources even point to literature suggesting they can be as effective as antidepressants for supporting mood. They're key for focus, for awareness, even for a baby's brain developing in the womb. Then there's the actual nuts and bolts of your body. The sources call EFAs the single most important nutrient for your skin, helping to hydrate it from the inside out. But it goes deeper. They're required for the structure of every single cell wall. They help patch up a leaky gut and can even turn on the genes for building stronger bones. And it just keeps going. Your hormones, yep, you need EFAs to produce them. Your ability to breathe,
They're precursors to little messengers that keep your airways open. In fact, a deficiency is directly linked in the sources to conditions like asthma. You start to get this picture of a nutrient that is truly essential for, well, everything.
And that brings us to this final, really critical question our source material leaves us with. This isn't just about what pill to take, it's about a fundamental approach to health. Should our main focus be on suppressing symptoms with a copy, or should it be on providing the body with its essential building blocks, the original? That's a powerful idea to think about. Thanks for joining me.